everyone, and welcome to the Indie Creative Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics. I'm one of your hosts, Angel, with John Pepe.
How's it going, Angel?
Hey, it feels like I just saw you a couple hours ago.
You kind of did, but yeah.
It's all good. But now your room is like dimly lit, so it's like nighttime.
Exactly.
It's so weird. Hey, gang, welcome back. This is a special episode. This is the Indie Creator Spotlight. And we're super excited because it's the beginning of the year, and we're already starting off with guests, man. I'm excited. We're going to be talking comics with Steve McArdle. Hopefully I said that right because my pronunciation of people's names is horrible. I'm just glad it wasn't 20,000 syllables. So I think we're going to pop him in here and we'll get started. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's rock and roll. I got to say the magic word. I said, sesame, bam! There he goes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're doing good. We're kicking. It's January. It's 2026. It's a brand new year. I can't believe we're already 2 weeks into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's insane. Like once
it goes so quick.
Yeah. Like once Thanksgiving kicks around, and then I think Thanksgiving to Christmas this past year was only 4 weeks apart. Like it was really close, and then that's it. It's New Year's, and then, God damn, it just goes by quick. And it sucks because this was the first year that I actually had like a decent amount of time off from work. So the day after I'm off, guess what happens? I get sick, and then I'm sick the entire week. So I get to do nothing on my time off. So I work 48 weeks straight to do 2 weeks of nothing.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. F you, God. I'm sorry about that. Steve, I apologize. We often go off on a tangent. So if you go off on a tangent, you're good to go as well. All right, cool. So, yeah, Steve McArdle, listen, tell us a little bit about you and why you're here today.
Sure. I'm a comic fiend like you two guys, I'm sure are. I grew up with comics ever since I was a little kid. Every dollar I got from my allowance went to buying comic books. As I got in my teen years, I got more into music. I was a musician for a long time, played in a bunch of different bands. So I'm influenced by, comic art, fantasy art, album cover art, a lot of different things, not just comics. Mm-hmm. By the early 90s, my band had kind of broken up and dissolved. And I decided to finally put my hand to paper and make my first mini-series. Planned out the whole first 4 issues, the characters, the story. And I was working at a print shop at the time. So it helped with getting the graphics together, a little bit of a discount on the printing. It's pre-internet days, so I just did as much research as I could about distribution. Did that first issue of Vendetta. My dad loaned me the money to print it and publish it. I got it into all the distributors back then. And I just wanted to make enough money that I could get to issue number 2, do enough with that issue to get to number 3. And if I could get to issue 4 and wrap it all up, I'd be like, okay, I've proven my point. I want to be able to write and draw comics. That shows if I can at least get that done.
Right.
So it went pretty well, actually. The sales were pretty good. Nothing huge. It was like small print runs, like 500 copies of the first couple of books. And then the print runs started to get a little bit bigger as they went on some of them. And they just kind of kept going from there. There was a character in Vendetta introduced called Artillery. Mm-hmm. So I did a one-shot book on him. I did another book called Nick Noise and the Nuisance, which is just completely different, like a Mad Magazine style book on like rock bands, just silly satire. And then by the late 90s, I was working a 3-issue series called Crowbar 9, covert government team, 9 characters. I wanted to try to do like a team book and like something different from what Vendetta was. So I published issues 1 and 2, never got to finish issue 3. Family stuff. I won't go into it, but I wasn't able to finish the series by then.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna cut you off just really quickly.
Sure.
I remember in our shop we did have copies of
Mhm.
Crowbar 9. I don't know how we got them, but we did have them in our shop. And it was around the same time. I don't know if it was around the same time Graphic Fantasy came out, because that's Eric Larson's thing.
Right.
It was
But
late 90s, yeah, like 97.
yes, yeah.
98.
So I don't know if this was a reprint or whatever it is, but I do remember seeing it, and I remember picking it up,
Mhm.
which is crazy. So I don't know if it was solicited through like Diamond or anything, as far as you know, because
No,
not really.
no, because what happened was when I put Vendetta 1 out, there was 8 or 10 distributors.
Okay.
Right.
But Diamond wasn't very friendly to the small companies.
Yeah.
So I would get in all the distribution catalogs except for Diamond.
Hmm.
So by 95, 96, I got 3 or 4 books out. Diamond's the only distributor. And
Right.
so I can't get any distribution at all.
Hmm.
So I would advertise through the Comic Buyer's Guide, or I'd, drive around my neighborhood and drop them off at stores, anything I could do to get it out there.
Now where are you located?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Were you ever in Jersey?
No,
So weird.
that's
Yeah.
cool that it got out there, though.
Yeah. So you only got the 2 issues of Crowbar 9 out, but I'd also noticed there's an 80-page giant, but that's just the 2 issues smashed together.
No, I finished the 3rd issue finally,
That did okay. And when did that happen?
just a couple of years ago.
That is just a couple years ago, but even just a couple years ago, you still didn't get distribution through Diamond, correct?
Right? No, actually, you know what? I am now because of I'm with Floating World.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. So that might have been it, because I think, that 3rd issue, the 80-page giant,
Yep.
I think that might have come in because you said it was new as of a couple 3 years ago. So that might have been it. But
Right.
I do know that I think we still might have at least one. We have one of the first 2 issues in the back issue bins.
The
I
Crowbar, right?
remember seeing it fairly recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Well, those
seeing
are pretty rare. I don't even think there's 500 of those. I did a
Wow.
small print run,
it.
and I
Wow.
wasn't getting the distribution, and I was just doing mail order and local conventions. So
And they
things
never got reprinted, right?
never, no.
Wow.
So did you do any through Floating World?
Well, what happened was a few years back, there was a channel on YouTube called Power Comics. 2 guys, Evan and Jason, they work for Vice TV.
Mhm.
And so they did a YouTube channel on underground small comics that, fell through the cracks.
Huh.
And I did a couple interviews with them. And after one of the shows, they go, "Hey, stick around, Steve. We got a deal we're working on. We might be interested in." And so they helped hook me up with Floating World, and that's where I did the first like Vendetta trade paperback. So I had kept all the artwork from the original books and the artillery artwork.
Is that a hardcover?
Paperback.
Oh, paperback. Okay.
It's a
Oh,
paperback.
yeah. I see it.
I didn't send this to you guys yet.
No.
Oh man. Okay. After the show, I got to get your address. I'll send some stuff out to you guys.
Oh, dude, that would have been great. I would have loved to
I
have
should
seen
have
it.
done that beforehand. I'm sorry about
It's
that.
all good.
But
It's like Bizarro interview.
exactly. Well, maybe we can do another one sometime if you guys want. And
Yeah, for sure.
update it or whatever.
Especially if
But,
there's more stuff coming down the pike, So
Oh yeah. I'm busy working away. So this is Vendetta 1 through 4, the artillery book, and I had gotten commissions from Gene Colan and George Tuska
Mhm.
of my characters, and I never inked them. So that's in here too. A whole bunch of bonus stuff. Letters pages, photos. So this is more than just a reprint of the old stuff. There's a ton of new stuff in here too. This did well, and so I mentioned to him, "Hey, how about I finish Crowbar 9?" And so this is where the 80-page giant came in.
Nice.
I went back and I issued the pages for number 3. Had been sitting there for 20 years. And I forgot the story. I went back, reviewed it all, and I went back and I updated 1 and 2. So I added more backgrounds. I rewrote a lot of it. So this is the definitive version. Even if you got the old original copies, this is by far the best version of the Crowbar 9 stuff. And so once I finished this, I just said, hey, man, I want to keep going. Floating World's a great publisher. They're really nice guys. Response to it was really good. And so that's when I did, where's the first ones? So here we go. Here's Vendetta 5, first new issue in 30 years. This came out, was it the end of 24?
Okay.
I think. Okay. And then Vendetta number 6, another all new issue, all new characters, new villains. This came out last spring.
Nice.
Right.
And so I'm working on Vendetta number 7 right now. I'm a little bit behind on it. I've just had so much stuff happen this year with work and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm still working away. That'll be out sometime this year for sure.
So when it comes to the actual comic, are you doing everything? You're writing, art. It's black and white, right? Black
and white, color wraparound covers. I still work the old school way: paper, pens, markers, zipatones, brushes, inks.
Oh
wow! The only thing I have that's a digital source is somebody made a computer font with my hand lettered font from the early Vendetta books.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So instead of sitting by hand and doing every single page, I've got a little bit of help with a computer font. It still looks my handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of the most distinctive things I think about what I've noticed in your work, aside from the fact that it's all done, you started in the early 90s through the mid 90s and you're revisiting it now, but you very much wear your 80s influences on your sleeves, and I really dig the logo designs. I like your Vendetta logo design. I like your Crowbar 9 logo design. They're very unique. They stand out. And I also know that you've also used that logo for one of your bands, Skullhammer, as well. So I went back, I watched some videos, and I saw the back. I was like, oh yeah, okay, it all fit. It all fit. Is really cool. I love your logo design. I think that's is really neat. I get like a nice warm 80s nostalgia vibe, especially from that Crowbar 9 with that metallic thing you do.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's as a kid in high school, I played in a million metal bands. And so I loved like the classic Marvel Comics logos and some of the great band logos, that are just everything from Kiss to Metallica to Megadeth. My influences, like I said, is not just comics. It's a lot of 80s music, 80s movies, independent art, independent movies.
Yeah, you can see it. Did you ever read any like 2000 AD, like Judge Dredd stuff?
Oh yeah.
So I saw some of the pages of the interior and stuff like that, and I just finished reading the case files of Judge Dredd, the black and white strip series.
Great.
And dude, it reminded me so much of your work. So I don't like where are your influences coming from? Like what was some of the artists that you admired coming up?
Boy, thanks. Yeah, well, Judge Dredd for sure. That stuff was great. Kind of like everything growing up, like Jack Kirby was huge. I first started reading in the 70s, so I love like John Buscema, Jim Starlin, George Perez. Yeah. Then like by the 80s, like John Byrne, Scott Williams, those guys. I was there for like when the Turtles came in, The Crow, Dead World, Warlock 5, all that kind of stuff. And then I started seeing like Image coming in and all like by the 90s comics were exploding. And my band had kind of fizzled, and I was like, this is if I don't do comics now, I'm never going to do it. So I got to just, put the work in and do it.
Was this something that you always wanted to do and just had on the back burner, and then all of a sudden the opportunity just opened up?
Yeah, exactly. Like I had created the characters, I think probably in high school, but at the time I was more interested in playing in a band, in my late teens, early 20s, just having fun, writing songs, got to open for a lot of good bands and stuff like that. And then eventually, like come the early 90s, I was like, I got to do a comic book. I really, I got to, put my pen to paper and just start getting serious about it.
That's great. So talk a little bit about that process. So the very first comic that you did, that trial and error phase, like, did you have help or did you do it all by yourself?
I did it all by myself. I had How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
Wow. Okay.
Couple of the little small, like, I'm trying to think I think there was, obviously, the anatomy books, George Bridgman, Bern Hogarth. I didn't even know what paper to use. Here's a copy. This is the original Vendetta #1 that I had printed. I even did the color separation. One original for the black ink, one original for the red ink, and then it's a black and white 24-page book, and I just laid it all out. I did the research. What size paper do you use? I tried everything to ink, from markers to crow quills to brushes. Eventually I use mostly markers more now. It's just because it's convenient and easy. But sometimes I'll use brushes. Sometimes I use zip. Sometimes I use airbrush. Sometimes I'll do gray architectural markers for little sort of halftones. Try to anything to get a good solid line, or anything black and white or halftones in between.
Right.
Try to utilize as much of black and white as I can.
Do you still have the original pages from those books?
Yeah. I've got in my closet. I've got a shelf of the portfolios, all labeled. Vendetta 1, 2, 3, 4, Artillery, Nick Noyes, Crowbar 9. Now I've got a lot of artwork. People have been sending me their stuff. So there's a ton of great artists out there now. Yeah. So in the new issues of Vendetta, I've been including a page of art that the readers send in. And so
that's cool.
Some really great stuff.
That's great. Yeah, because often John and I always talk about this because, we do the podcast, but we also have our own little small publishing house. We just finished off a crowdfunding campaign. We're getting ready to send out all the material and stuff like that. And it's always interesting because now we're in an age where the digital stuff is taking over. And because people are crunched for time and stuff like that, it's just a lot easier to do everything digitally. But what you lose in the long run is that library of pages that are sitting in your closet, that when you do, a convention or something, that you can actually bring some of this material out there and they can see the original pages and stuff like that. And, I'm not going to say I'm guilty of it. I utilize the technology just because of time crunching. But all my interiors are done digitally. I'll still do my layouts and everything with pencil and stuff like that. But for the most part, once I have everything roughed out, it's all digital. The only thing that I do, pen to paper are my covers. So that I do traditionally. So that way, at least all of the covers that I've done, I have hard copies of them. So that when I do go to conventions, there's definitely something there. And, within the next, 5 to 10 years, you're going to go to conventions and there's not going to be any original artwork that you can purchase because everybody's just, doing everything on a tablet, which for, convenience and time, great. But for, the fan that likes to collect art, not so much. So that's why I opted in on at least doing the covers traditionally. That way I can have some material there. Because it's like a lost art. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody the other day. It's like we learned cursive in school growing up, like writing, like actual writing. And my daughter did cursive, I think maybe up to the 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and then that's it. Yeah, everything is just computer. Like they don't write anything. Like when she writes her signature, it takes her 10 minutes because it has to be perfect line for line because they don't do it. And so when it comes to this part of the industry, we were talking in length before about where we think this industry is going and stuff like that. And I think one of the things that's lost is sort of like that tactile portion of, putting pencil to paper and, running away with an idea and having that stuff there. So, and being able to utilize the tools. But yeah, that's freaking cool. Wait, so you worked so it's funny. I'm going to be all over the place because I was listening to you and you worked in the print shop and we were talking about this before. We were talking about pre-internet, after internet, And the only thing that we can think of as far as an IP that's made it out of an independent era was in the 80s, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And those guys literally went to a print shop and just printed it off copies and got that out there and stuff like that. So talk about that. What did you, how did you get that first one out? Like, was it just like going to stores, or were you mailing it to people? How were you getting the word out from that first issue?
Yeah, it was tricky because like I said, there's not a lot of information back then on self-publishing. You know, even as an older guy now, like I'm just take the internet for granted. You just assume, I just look it up and the information's right there. It takes 2 seconds. So I had to really kind of like search and really kind of dig and find out, like, what's a solicitation? What does that mean? Oh, you send something out to the distributors and you give them the cover art and the synopsis and the cover price and all of that kind of stuff. And then you get your orders in, and then you can go to the printers with the numbers. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really do it that way. I think I just printed 500 and hoped I could sell whatever I could and sell them later at conventions. And I didn't even know I was getting distribution. I went into my local comic book store. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Bedrock Comics, which used to be Bop City Comics in Framingham, Mass. And I went in there one day, and guy Jimmy was like, "Hey, Steve, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, your book's in the new distributors catalogs for Capital City. I ordered a few for the shelf." I was like, "What? I'm in the catalog?" I go, "Can I buy one of those catalogs?" "Oh yeah, we got them on the shelf." And so little by little, not by accident. I mean, I did the work to put it in, but it was kind of haphazard, and nobody contacts you and says, "We're going to carry your book." You know, I discovered by walking into the store, it was in there. And then, a month later, whatever it was, the orders started coming in. So back then, we had Capital City,
Heroes World.
Yep. Heroes World.
Yep. Heroes World and Capital City were the two best and two biggest for me. And then there was a few foreign ones, multi-book periodical. I forget them all now.
Wait, so you sent the solicitation in, you got no word that the solicitation was approved, and then all of a sudden just got orders.
Yeah,
I love the 80s.
It was so crazy, right? And then Diamond would just send me a letter every time, like, "We don't like it. Practice your art. We don't like it. Practice your art." And then I'd see other books in there, and I was like, I don't think my stuff's anything great, but I see them distributing stuff. It doesn't look any better than mine, but that's just the way the world
That's
runs.
crazy. So then what were you publishing under?
Red Bullet Comics.
Okay.
With the name Red Bullet Comics, Red Bullet Studios. Because back then, the Turtles had Mirage Studios.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'll make like a studio name. So whatever I do, whether it's comics or T-shirts or model kits. At the time, there was a local hobby shop, and they licensed my character, the Black Dagger, the villain from number 3. And so there's some vinyl garage kits out there of the Black Dagger. I don't know how many he made, but they came out great. They're really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there any significance behind choosing the name Red Bullet Comics?
I just wanted something that kind of sounded cool, and I wanted to nail easy to spell, easy to pronounce. It's kind of straightforward.
It makes sense. Everything back in the 80s and 90s was just whatever sounds cool, just go with it.
Yeah, I was like sort of like Iron Maiden or whatever. Like, we take 2 cool words and put them together somehow.
All right, so you get yourself started. So now we have what was the very first book you put out?
Vendetta number 1.
Vendetta number 1, and that was when?
1993, I think.
Wow. All right, so you've been doing this for a while then.
Yeah, and this first issue, this took me. And I look back and I'm like, boy, this is some really rough artwork and stuff. I spent well over a full year. And, a lot of hours, like a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends, And that's what happened. Was I was on vacation with my dad. We were probably down the Cape, it's Massachusetts beach, and I had my artwork with me, because I take it with me everywhere because you just got to keep working and working to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Wow," he's like, "You're starting to get real serious with your artwork and your comics." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do a book. I want to put it out there. I want to see what I can do." And he liked comics too. He grew up reading comics as a kid. He would take me to the conventions in Boston when I was a little kid. And so he gave me the money to publish this first book. To do the first 500 copies. And it did well enough. It gave me enough to go back and do issue number 2. Issue number 2 came out, and I thought, okay, everybody buys number 1. How am I going to get people to buy the second issue of this book, right? Like, it's uphill. I know it already. I go, what if I sign and number every copy? It'll take me a long time, but if I sit and do the time, every copy of Vendetta 2, if you find them, they're still out there, is signed and numbered on the inside. So I just try anything to make something special or better, for the consumer, for somebody going in with their money.
So now tell us a little bit about Vendetta. What is it about, and what's the concept, and how did you come up with it?
Yeah, it's sort of evolved. Like you can see, like in the trade paperback, there's different versions of what he looked like in the beginning. He looked like he just had sort of like a T-shirt in the beginning, and it evolved. He's a scientist. He works for this company, Chemicorp, which is a huge, military industrial complex type of organization run by a corrupt guy, Roger Stone. And so eventually they decide that Damon Scott has outlived his usefulness for the company, and they're going to kill him with his own creation, Substance X-13. It's like almost like a super napalm, toxic, just death chemical. And they fail to kill him, but they just try and ruin his face. And so he comes back. The chemicals are starting to affect him. And then he eventually breaks in. He gets a compu file, and he's hoping that reversing it will restore his face. File's corrupted. And so he gets bathed in more radiation, more crazy, God knows what sort of chemicals and crazy rays. And so now he's become stronger. I haven't gone into like other things if his powers will evolve over time. But I just wanted something where he's not your average person. He's super powered. The background, I made him a Christian superhero, and at the time was just to make him different. Like there's so many superheroes with boots and capes. How do I make a character different?
Right.
And I've never heard it. I know there's other characters like it now, but someone with like just a religious background. I wasn't trying to push religion. I'm not a born again or a very religious guy, but I'm not trying to mock it or bash religion either. I just did it as something to make it different. And I could quote the Bible in little passages here and there where it ties into the story.
Right.
Nowadays, when people see the character Vendetta, Holy Vindicator, people assume I'm a born again, or it's a religious book, or it's anti-religious. It's really neither. I'm not like a heavily political sort of guy. I just want something entertaining.
Yeah.
It's interesting how back then you could do something like that and it wouldn't take on what it wouldn't be. People would have interpreted back then, early 90s, as they probably did. Oh, it's a character trait.
Exactly.
Now it would be construed as agenda driven. You're absolutely right. It's
exactly because people just accepted stuff back then. It's like, okay, it's entertainment. This guy likes bubblegum, and this guy likes pop music, or this guy likes punk rock, without an explanation. Yeah. So maybe at some point, as I go through the story, maybe I'll explain his upbringing a little bit more, if that satisfies more modern audiences. It hasn't been a real issue so far, but people have picked up on the new issues and like it. I've tried to pick up 20 years later, like no time has gone at all. I went from, redoing the Vendetta trade paperback and Crowbar 9 right to Vendetta 5. And I try to keep the art style the same, pick up the story where it left off, and just continue.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's interesting because it's one of those things where you can ponder over the people that will read it the wrong way. But I think we've been doing this long enough that we know we're not going to appease everyone. And I think the last thing that I can remember, especially if we're looking at Christianity, or we're looking at religion or anything like that, like the last book that I read, honestly, that brought in that subject sort of like in the background, but was never like, it never hindered the story, was Spawn.
Mm.
I mean, it's about heaven and hell. You got demons all over the place.
Yep.
You had Angela, the angels and stuff like that, and it was there. It was really prominent, but it wasn't an overly religious message.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was driving the story.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go all the way back to Action Comics #1, Superman, I mean, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, they're doing Moses. They're doing the Moses story. And then it's later on where it becomes people graft on the Jesus Christ story onto Superman. Yeah, but the original read really is more closer to Moses than that. And it's it's not an adaptation. It's just an aspect of the character that has a precedence in storytelling.
Yeah,
going back thousands of years.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if it sounds preachy, it's probably going to come across not well. And I think those stories aren't preaching, but they're indicators of driving the story from the background, which I think is really cool. So I think, I don't think you need to bring attention to it. I think if your intent is pure, then the story is going to shine more than what he is or what he represents and stuff like that. So yeah, but there's always going to be people that are going to just read into stuff, and it's usually people that are not talented at all. Can't stand it at all. It's just crazy.
Or just don't understand the mechanics of storytelling. That when Todd McFarlane is using the battle between heaven and hell as a backdrop for his story, it is a story. He is not making that statement. He is just taking a trope that, again, has been popular and used throughout history in storytelling, and so it's interesting. Yeah, people will read into things that they want to read, and they'll make that square peg fit that round hole just to prove their point.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I like what you said, Angel, too, and not to take it too seriously, because there's people who are going to react to it, and I don't want that to affect how I write the story.
Yeah, that at the end of the day, dude, it's comics. It's comics.
Exactly.
They're supposed to be meant entertaining. John and I were talking about this today too. And it's like there's room for everything. I mean, we spoke about really prolific writers like Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, and stuff like that. And there's a place for that. Like that's literature with words. And then we were talking about Rob Liefeld, which is like the action star of the comic industry and stuff like that. And you go from one spectrum to the other, and everything in between, and there's something for everybody in that sense. So I think when artists and creators feel like they need to explain or apologize for their stuff, then that's not the way to go. We can't be apologetic for our creativity. It's what we want. It's what's in us that's trying to come out. So let it come out. And for those people that are entertained by it, great. For everybody else, they can go, yeah.
You're right. You're right 100%. It's the same thing like with music.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're offended by it, you don't have to listen to it. Turn it off or don't read it or whatever. There's plenty of other stuff that you can enjoy.
All right.
So you said when you returned to the world of Vendetta, 20 some odd years later, and you tried to keep the style consistent as if the story was just picking up from then. Now, clearly the distribution game and everything that you had to do back in the early 90s was very different. And I think when it comes to self-publishing, I don't think there's a one size fits all solution in any era. But now, the big name of the game is the crowdfunding stuff, the Kickstarters and the GoFundMe stuff. But the distributors are still there, although we are kind of less most of a diamond right now, So when you came back into this a couple years ago, resuming the story, how did you feel or navigate out? Was it easy? Was it hard for you to navigate the new distribution model that existed when you came back?
That's a really good question. Yeah, because that plays such a big part of it. Like I said, like with the distribution wars of the '90s, I went from being in all the distributors except for Diamond, and then they're the last one standing, and like I'm blackballed out of the whole industry basically. So my kind of the same thing happened again. Like I was in another band in the like 2010, 2015. That was Skullhammer. That was like the band I had started in the 80s and 90s called Lethal Fury, which another guy had started, but I came in and redid the logo and stuff like that. So fast forward or rewind, say 2019, 2020 is when I started people contacting me like, hey, are you the guy that did the Vendetta comics? We've got a YouTube channel. We found some of your old books. Would like to do an interview and stuff. Check out Power Comics. And so they're the guys, they hooked me up with Jason over at Floating World. Shout out to Jason, super nice guy, great dude, great publisher. He's got a big location up in Portland.
In Oregon, right? Yeah.
Yep. So before they had even contacted me, I had decided like I need to come back to comics. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. Do I finish Crowbar 9? Do I do a Vendetta 5? And I don't have a lot of money to start like printing and publishing and, not selling it if there's no interest. So it worked out perfectly. Floating World came along. They wanted to republish the old stuff. And I go, look, I got all my old artwork sitting right there. I'll redo some of it, make it as good as possible. I redo the front cover. I went back and had a bunch of the commissions inked. So I got a piece by Gene Colan. I got 4 pieces of art by George Tosca, plus, sketches of the characters, photos of like fan-made figures people sent me, the letters pages. And so thank God, like they've been handling that end of it. So thanks to Floating World, they've been able to get me back into Diamond. And what's the other one? Is it Penguin? It's Penguin, and then
and Lunar.
Lunar, thank you. That's it. Yeah, my stuff is through Lunar, I think now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because the creators that we have on, and it's creators are creators, right? They create, but they often don't think about the business aspect of it because you can love to create all you want, but you got to put food on the table at some point, and materials cost stuff, whether you're going to do it traditionally or whether you're going to do it digital. And time is precious to a lot of people. So if you're going to do, most guys are working full time, and then once they're done with their job, coming home and trying to draw for another 4 to 5 to 6 hours. If you have family on top of that and responsibilities, it's tough. And we've as far as creators are concerned, we've interviewed everyone from like what we consider kids, like in their early 20s, teens, to our age and stuff like that. And you can see sort of like the disparity of ones that are just beginning out, ones that are like, yeah, I really want to do this, but don't really understand that creating is part of the process. But once you have it done, what do you do with it then? How do you get it out into the world?
Yeah.
And it's cool that you were able to land, Floating World, because I think that's what people miss, is having that, I guess, support from a publisher to be able to get your stuff out there. Now, are there other things besides having just Floating World that you do to get your stuff out there? Like, do you do conventions? I know you're in Massachusetts. Have you ever done IC3?
Yeah, I did IC3 last 2 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
It was
I remember.
amazing.
Isn't it? Listen, we were supposed to be there last year. Something came up, and I was kicking myself in the ass. I actually sent them a package with a whole bunch of stuff that they were just supposed to be put in people's bags and stuff like that. I think we had one of our books there and stuff like that. At the time, we were Amazing Action Comics, and we've just rebranded. But I'm definitely planning on going. I think they're doing it at a different location this year, though, at a bigger location, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 'cause I was waiting to see like what it was March last year,
Yeah, I think it's later on in the year now.
but I know they've teamed up with CAF,
Yes.
Comic Art Fans, Bill
Yes.
Collins. And so I know he does conventions in Florida. So if they're moving it down to Florida, that's a long way for me to go. I don't know.
Well, I think they're adding. So I think there is going to be one down in Florida. They're still going to do the online virtual thing that they did as well. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was on their site. It might be in September this year, the one up in Mass. So yeah, I signed up. So I'm just waiting for like their updates and stuff like that. But yeah, do you do a lot of conventions?
I'm not doing a ton. I do a few here and there. There's one coming up down near Cape Cod. I just put in for that. I'm not sure if I'm in or not. I do a few here and there. Like I'm kind of picky. I don't want to sit at a table and if everyone's there just for mainstream comics and they're not interested in small press, it probably wouldn't be worth my time. But something like IC3, like that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's all indie stuff, right?
Oh man, like it was great. Like I sold a bunch of books. I've got I'm working with a guy out of Texas who hand makes his own toys. So
cool.
Now too. These are handmade, hand painted. I paint everyone by hand, sign and number the bottom on the feet. And then I clear coat them with like an auto clear coat so they're sturdy, like they're nice and tough. The paint doesn't chip.
Nice.
Shout out Chance Priest, Victory Toys and Comics out of Texas. He's got a family-run business. Great dude. He's got an army of his own characters. He makes tons of toys. I've been busy doing some commissions on the side.
Okay.
And so I've done a bunch of variant covers for his books, Warriors of the Universe and stuff too.
Cool.
Oh, so you're busy.
Yeah. I've been busy doing a bunch of commissions this year. I've got different versions of the action figures, and just keep plugging away. Vendetta, I'm on number 7.
Right.
Number 8 is going to come to like a soft conclusion, like just an end page. And then I can decide either to do Vendetta 9. I might do a one shot or something after that, but it'll give me like a kind of a place to take a breath and then figure out what's next.
Now, do you know how that story is going to end?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an issue number in mind, or it ends when it ends?
Oh, I'm just going to come to like a conclusion with Vendetta number 8, but it's still going to continue for that. I've got ideas I could write and draw another 20 issues.
Oh, okay.
I got all kinds of characters and stuff.
Any more Crowbar 9 in you, or?
Possibly. I'm thinking of having the characters cross over into Vendetta.
Cool.
Because there's a lot of characters in Crowbar 9 I really like. It was my first chance to really like make a more diverse sort of a group, like almost like the X-Men were.
Right.
So you get almost as many, females as men, and people with all different backgrounds, different age groups, different powers, everything.
Well, that's got a great Silver Age, Bronze Age superhero vibe, even by the 80-page giant logo that you cribbed. That's always one of my favorite things to always see on a comic book. What about music? Any you still playing music? Any bands you're still in? Is Skullhammer still around, or?
No, not right now. The band kind of fell apart before the whole thing with Floating World happened. I
you ever think about writing a soundtrack for your book?
I thought about doing stuff like that. I'm a big fan of like those old book and records, those little sets. I remember having those as a kid, and I always thought like maybe someday like make a comic book and write music that goes with the comic book.
Yeah. There's a couple of books that came out over the last couple of years. I think one of them was We Live. There was another one that was actually based around music. That music tower.
Oh, the radio apocalypse that never finished.
Yeah.
They never finished. They ran.
It never finished.
That one.
But what they did is they added QR codes
Yeah.
to some of the pages, and when you went on your phone to do the QR code, you can listen to the music that accompanied that particular page or that story.
Arcadia, a new series from Ignition Press, a new publisher, is
Yes.
doing that as well. Then you also had What's the Furthest Place from Here, that would release little vinyl single-sized 45s, and Warm Fusion, I think a distillery thing, had a full LP release to go along with. Yeah.
So if you thought about it, I mean, have you ever done crowdfunding before for any of your projects?
I haven't done it before. Some of my friends have. Buddy Matt King from Tales to Enlighten. He had a couple successful Kickstarters, and he did a huge book, big, thick graphic novel, hundreds of pages, got hundreds of guest artists to do pinups and stuff.
Nice.
And I support a lot of the Kickstarters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new artists I'm a big fan of, and if they do new stuff, I always support the Kickstarters for people.
That's great. Yeah, it might be something that you might want to think about as well. It's a great supplement of revenue as well, especially if you have a solid base of people that appreciate what you're already doing. And it would help fund something like a vinyl record. So if you wanted to do something special that you normally wouldn't be able to do just because of cost, then this could be something that could get covered. I mean, you could write the music, do the music, and have it on there. And I think it'd be something that'd be really unique. So it might be something, I mean, depending on your schedule and stuff like that, it might be something to think about. It's a really good, avenue for people to go down, especially if they're stretched on resources, is to help, raise the resources so that you can be able to do stuff like that for yourself. We've been doing it for a while, and yeah, it's work, but when it's coming out of the pocket of people that are supporting rather than my own pocket, it's a lot better. It's a lot sweeter. And plus it's, you get stuff to your fans that the regular people who are buying your book at conventions are not getting, and stuff like that. One of the companies that we talk about all the time is Bad Idea. When they came on board, they were just running all these gimmicks and gambits amok at the very beginning. Annoying as fuck, but great, because it really brought attention to the company, and it brought in a ton of people who love that stuff. I mean, gimmicks for comics have been around forever. What's that one comic that we cannot stand, that we can't put away? The one with the gem on the forehead.
The Eclipso, the Darkness Within special. The worst marketing gimmick ever.
On the cover.
Yes.
How do you put that with your other comics? What do you have to do so it doesn't ruin a whole row of... never mind.
That was the worst. But then you have like the open books of like Sabretooth with his claws going through. Freaking awesome and stuff like that. So there's
every book, every gimmick cover you guys mentioned, I've got every one of them.
Because they're great. They're freaking hologram stuff.
I like the good embossed cover in the 90s. Yeah. Some of the Batman, like post Nightfall, I think there was this run of embossed covers.
Oh yeah.
Chain Gang War had that nice embossed chain going down the front.
Yeah. Yep. No, there was a whole run of lenticular covers too that were awesome. Recent. I think that was in the DC stuff. But it's awesome. So right now you're with Floating World. So how can people get a hold of your book if they want to get a copy of either Crowbar or Vendetta?
It's everywhere. I've got a little store on eBay.
Okay.
Stevel Knievel Collectibles. And so I've got all the new books for sale. Vendetta 5, 6, Crowbar, the trade paperback, or you can go on Amazon. There's people who have them on Amazon.
Okay.
Pretty much every. I remember like when I first signed up with Floating World and the book was coming out, and I kept like checking back, and I was like, oh, it's on the Walmart website. Oh my God, it's on Target's website. It's because Floating World does a really good job of getting the stuff distributed. Everybody had it, like everyone carried it.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
and then of course new issues as they come out, someone can walk into their local comic shop and request them from their retailer, of course, right? Because they are available, like you said, through Lunar. So
Right, exactly. So I don't think Diamond is still active. I think it's just
No,
Lunar
they're
and
done.
Penguin. So you can contact and order them through Lunar. There's also Floating World has a website, floatingworldcomics.com. You can go there, order them direct from them. They'll probably have the first pre-orders when Vendetta 7's ready. So I don't know when that'll be ready, but I'll do an announcement and stuff like that once I'm ready to put it out.
Okay. Do you have a personal website as well?
Just Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. So that's how you communicate with your fans.
Yeah. It's Steve Ace McArdle on Instagram or Red Bullet Comics on Facebook.
I'll make sure I put the links in the video as well. All right, we're getting towards the end here. So we always ask this of all the guests that we have on. What advice? Well, do you have anything else, John, before I ask the last question?
No, I think it's great stuff, man. I love what you're doing. I love you've been doing it for so long. I love that you put it away and came back to it. Fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you, dude. I hope you guys make it to IC3. I want to hang out and buy you guys a beer if you guys make it out to Connecticut this year.
Oh, that would be awesome. All you had to do was say beer. All right, cool. Yeah. So we asked this of all our guests at the very end. What advice would you give to anyone who is looking to actually, start their own comic?
Boy, I'd say just like be true to what you want and what you want to do. Listen to people's suggestions, but don't give them too much credence. Just kind of do what you do and put it out there and let the people decide. I told the story before. I went to the comic convention in the early 90s, before Vendetta 1 came out. And I just thought I'd bring some of my pages with me. I took a bus up to New York, stayed in a hotel and stuff, and thought to show my stuff to the editors, see if I could get work. And I could tell right away. I was like, I'm not ready to work. I was so stupid. I didn't even bring my good pages. I brought like the weak pages I had. I don't know what I was thinking, but I could tell, okay, this isn't going to work. I'm not really at that point. But I go, but I can finish Vendetta 1 and I can put something out there. And even if it's not a house style, but if I can just establish my style and my characters and my little world, my little universe that's consistent with itself, I don't care what anyone else is doing. I'll make my own little thing and maybe I can build something out of that. And that's sort of what happened. Like I always dreamed, I'd love to draw Thor or Spider-Man or the Avengers, Batman. I still would love to, but realistically, it makes way more sense for me to do my own comics where I'm writing it, I'm inking it. I have complete control creatively. I can create characters and own the characters. I can dream up my own merch for it and have shirts and toys and stickers and buttons and whatever, and kind of just my own little world. So I just say, like, be true to yourself and don't give up. It's going to be a lot of hours to do that first comic book. I remember just thinking, like, will I ever finish this one? I remember being like up all night. My eyes are getting bleary. I could go to sleep and go to work the next day and just come back to it the next day. And the next day, just don't give up.
Yeah. That's awesome advice. And just to add on to that, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be finished.
That's it.
Get it out there.
That's it. And what's funny too is you realize, I guess I've noticed it because like I'm what people call like outlaw comics, power comics. It's obviously self-published. It looks like one person writing and drawing it. And what a lot of people like about your style is a lot of times it's the things you think are imperfect or don't look as professional as you want. But that's kind of what makes your style unique sometimes. It's almost like a good punk rock band. They may not be that technical, but Johnny Ramone is probably one of the greatest rhythm guitar players ever. Yeah. Right? Just catchy, good songs, good riffs. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be Rush or King Crimson.
Yeah. No, it has to be you. It has to be, people can tell, especially when it comes to art, whether or not you put yourself in the art.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Because once you develop your own style and you're consistent with it, you're going to get a following. Not everybody's going to be crazy about it. I mean, we talk about this all the time. That's why there's so many different artists out there. But the top ones, the ones that are really good, you don't even have to see the signature on the page.
Exactly.
You know who's drawn. It's been consistent throughout the years. Have a very unique style. They're really good artists out there, a ton of good artists, but a lot of them look like one another. And you can't really differentiate from them because they're trying to emulate someone else that's not them. And then you got these really solid, like we talk about this guy all the time, and I don't know, we got to get him on here. Fuck, he's one day. Daniel Warren Johnson. He's probably one of the most prolific artists, writers right now doing stuff. I think you actually like Murder Falcon because that's his rock and roll book, which is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, just so unique, and he doesn't only have a voice in the stuff that he's writing, his voice is in his art too. You can just tell by every single line that he's putting down, and you can just tell by looking at his art right off the bat that it's him.
That's killer. It's killer. There's so many artists like that. Like I can look at one page, I can tell you, Murderer's Row of artists. Like, oh, I can tell, like, when you see Gil Kane, when you see the Buscema's, when you see Kevin Eastman, like
Kevin Eastman for sure.
Right? It's so distinct. I refer to them a lot because they're from Massachusetts. Yep. And so they were one of those ones too. Like, I was like, man, like these guys are like killing it. Like, if you can do and I was there for the when they first launched, so by issue 2 or 3. And within like a year or two, like the books were getting huge, and then suddenly there's toys in the toy stores. And I'm on vacation one year, and I put on the TV. There's a Ninja Turtles cartoon. It was huge.
It's so funny that this just comes around again, because this is a conversation that we had earlier today, that this was the last independent, small press, nobody ever heard of thing that became one of the biggest IPs that we still have today. And we can't think of anything past Turtles that has done that. That's been independent or small press. And I don't want to go back there again, but we're trying to figure out why that was, and a lot of it has to do with pre-internet, post-internet stuff, and who's getting exposure to this medium. But yeah, listen, Steve, this has been absolutely fantastic. Love to read your stuff. So that would be great. And once we get a chance to do that, we'd love to have you back on and chat a little bit more if you're up to it.
I'll get your addresses, and I'll send both of you guys a package.
All right. That would be freaking awesome, Brian. Yeah. We appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, John and I, we've been doing this for a while. We love comics. We still read the big two, but we're so into like the indie and small press and just want to support as many creators as we can. Because we think there's a bunch of talent out there that's just not, out at the forefront where people should, be able to see them and stuff like that. So thank you for doing what you're doing, and, best of luck with, more issues coming up.
Dude, thank you very much for having me. That's what it's all about is getting the word out. Like you said, once you finish the book, you got to promote it. You got to try to help sell it. You got to let people know about it. Like, you can make the best book in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not gonna go anywhere. So I'm honored, and I love getting to hang out for an evening and talk comics with guys like you. And we live and breathe the same stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yes,
we'll hang out for sure at next IC3 and talk some more.
For sure. All right, Steve, be well, bro. Thank you for being on again. It's fantastic. All right, guys, listen, thank you for coming to this special episode of the Indie Creator Spotlight with Steve McArdle. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the podcast. If you're a creator and want to come on to the podcast, go to indiecreatorcomics.com, fill out the podcast form. John and I would love to have you on. Social media, at Indie Creator Comics, all over the place. And last but not least, please support your local comic shops, because without them, we would not be able to get the material that we love to read week in and week out. All right, folks, until next time, we want to thank you for joining us on the Indie Creator Comics podcast, where we are all about independent comics.